So, hi everyone. Thank you for coming back. This is Melissa, and I have the most special guest on. This is Lennon. And I'm
Hello,
so
everyone.
excited. Like, I couldn't wait for this. Like, John and I went to lunch, and I said, I really want to reach out to Lennon. And I said, I reached out to her on social media, and he's like, she doesn't have social media anymore. I'm like, no wonder. I thought she was like ignoring me because she didn't like me. And he's like, no, I'll get a hold of her. So thank you for being
Of course. Thank you for having me. I would never ignore you on social media. It's so funny though. Yeah, I've been out off since January, and that's been one of the things I've been wondering is, is anyone trying to get in on like those accounts or whatever? It's been such a minute. So I'm so glad we found each other and we're able to do this.
So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, if for those
Yeah.
people that don't know you.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name's Lennon, and I know Melissa from our time together on Dance Moms. I on Dance Moms was much different than I am now. I grew up as a male dancer and did not come out as trans until probably the tail end of what I would call my dance career. I still dance professionally after I transitioned, but sort of like came to a stop really by choice. But yeah, really met, you and the girls there, and we did so many things for years, and it was incredible. And so now I'm doing a lot of different things, and I'm excited to sort of talk about those things. But yeah, we go way back. We go
I'm
way
so
back.
proud. I'm sorry. I'm just like so proud of you. Sorry. I'm like a mom, and and I saw you as a male dancer, and you were like beyond so talented, and your emotions and your everything. And I just love seeing the journey that you were on. And I know it was a hard one. And look
Very
at you
hard.
now. I love everything that you're doing.
Thank you. And it's so interesting because I was not on the show nearly as long and as often as you and the girls were. I mean, that was your life in and out for years.
Yeah.
And for us, that kind of I would consider as like the drop-ins, the people that came and went,
Hmm.
were had a
Right.
very, different experience. And I often think back to those times and what I, used to say really publicly when I first came out as trans and sort of talked about my transition really publicly was it felt like a time of pause because we were, dancing for our lives. Like we were so busy. We were working for you guys day in, day out. For us, it was traveling, cross country. I lived in Arizona, was often in LA doing other working stuff and then would fly to the East Coast and then drive in a van across up and down the coast to all these random competition cities. Like,
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of time for self-reflection, at least for me. And so I often look at that time as, I was focused on other things and, I never felt like I was hiding anything. It sort of unfolded in a time that allowed me to process it for what it was in a way. So I feel like your body sort of knows when you're ready for the next thing. And, when I was on Dance Moms, I certainly was not ready to come out as trans. And,
Mhm.
that was early in those days was when I was just sort of realizing I was different and realizing that I was, at the time gay. Like that was I remember being in one of the competition hotel rooms like really late at night running around as we did as kids and being like
Yes.
talking with do you have a girlfriend with like one of the other kids on our team? And I was like, no, I don't really want one. Like, and
Yeah.
it's just as we were kids too. That's like something I often remind myself is like we were young and it was very much a part of me, but it also was not. So, give and take.
It's funny because our girls, they would never have a boyfriend. I mean, they didn't have time.
Yeah,
You know,
like when were we supposed to do that?
I mean, seriously, and I'm grateful for that, honestly, because, you know, being when you're all together as a group, you know how everybody gets so close, and I used to have so many boys sleeping here, all the dance boys, and they were the most respectful kids, and I adored them, Nick and I mean all of them. They were just such great kids, and we're still in touch, which is fabulous. But so tell me about your social media journey, because this is really interesting to me. And if you could help someone out there who's struggling with social media, because it is a hard thing.
It's totally hard, and no one wrote a playbook for how to grow up online and sort of brand and package yourself in this sort of pristine way. And especially if you have any kind of audience, whether it be 5,000 or 5 million,
Mhm.
there's this pressure, and when we were kids, I remember I got my very first iPhone when I was in seventh grade. And I think I'm 4 years older than Maddie, actually. I
She's
think
23.
so. Yeah, I'm 26, so 3 years apart. And so I was a little bit older. But I got my first iPhone grade, and the first thing I did was download Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. And I was obsessed with this. Was before the show, even. It was 6 months before I did Abby's Ultimate, which was that first competition show I did.
Oh my gosh, I forgot you did that.
Yeah, and that was the first season when it was real bootleg. Like we did not know what was going on. Like talk about
Wow.
piecing something together, that was wild. And that experience was crazy because that's when my mom and I realized that being on reality TV was different than we thought.
Yeah,
And
yeah, think.
so that was when, and we didn't last very long there because I don't actually really know why. I always said it was because my mom didn't want to,
Play ball.
play the game then at that point, and didn't
Yeah.
understand really the sort of reward that could come from playing the game because
Uh-huh.
at that time, we just didn't know. But so my first experience of social media was right before that show. And so that show aired, and by the time that first show aired, I was already filming season 3 of Dance Moms. And
Gotcha.
so it was an interesting timeline. And so by the time it aired, I was already filming, and it started to happen a little bit. And it was, first it was 5,000 followers, and it was 10, and then it was 20, and then it was 30, and then it just kept going up, and it happened really quickly. And something I'm very grateful for is I was, really connected with the audience of Dance Moms. I felt like on the show, I felt very connected to the fans. Like I felt like they would reach out to me a lot on social media, and so I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the attention too. Like it's just
Sure, you're a
fun. And
kid.
yeah, and the dopamine is a real thing. I mean, we don't talk about that enough, but the dopamine hit of like opening your phone and seeing, like, I remember in seventh grade, or no, this time would have been eighth grade, ninth grade. I remember opening and like posting a selfie and then just hitting refresh and seeing how the like number would go up. And I remember, I don't know why I remember this, but at one point, my like rate to like likes per second was like 100. Every minute, I'd get 100 likes or something. And it would like, you'd refresh, refresh, refresh. And I would watch it to see how many minutes I could keep that ratio. And if I could hit 1,000 likes in under 10 minutes, I would keep it. And if I didn't, I would delete it. And that was
Wow.
something I learned in eighth, ninth grade. And that was also the start of, what we know as influencing. And these businesses and these marketing professionals very quickly realized that the new storefront was actually trusted messengers and was an influencer. And when that happened, all these different apps and ways, like I remember the first time I was ever like approached by, I don't even remember what company it was. It was like, we'll send you X amount of money to do one post on Instagram, and would start out small and be, weird. And I'd make some, good money. And at that time, my family was, my mom really struggled with, and my mom and my dad, we really struggled, especially while we were doing Dance Moms, because it meant my mom was taking time off work, and she's a
Right.
hairdresser. And so she's not on a salary or anything. So it's like, if she's not in the salon doing the work, she's not getting paid. And so I was seeing this financial reward happen from something I thought was really fun. And so I was excited and I was into it. I was playing the game. And then when they realized they could start collecting insights, and you'd send your insights packages to a company like, oh, I have this much engagement, I have this much reach. Me posting this on my account will give you access to this many people that will definitely buy your product. And that process was, I don't think I realized it. I know I didn't realize it at the time, was really toxic for a young person, because I was thinking if I posted more, and then I noticed what stuff would do better. And that was when it got dark, because the things that perform better are not my beautiful solo that I'd been working years on with an acclaimed choreographer that I was ready to perform, blah, blah, blah. It was me laying on a pool like towel with no shirt on as a teen boy.
Yep.
And I
That's so
noticed.
smart that you noticed that at a young age.
Yes, and whether it was conscious at first or not, I just knew swimsuit photos do better. If I am doing a selfie, if I take my shirt off, it'll do better. If I'm doing like literally anything, going live, oh my gosh, everyone loves when you go live because they have access to you 24/7. What do I do very intimately with myself in my room? I just like hang out or like do whatever. Oh, let me do that on live. Let me stretch and do that on live. Like how many times did I do like a come stretch with me on Instagram, and like it's just a little bit bizarre, and that sort of feedback created a very toxic thing where like I
And how
would
old were you? Excuse me. How old were you at this time? Ninth grade?
14, 15,
Yeah.
14, 15. And it really became where, oh, today we're doing a content day. Like I know you're not a stranger to a content day, like
Mhm.
we're gonna go and we're gonna film all this stuff. And so it just became this job. And I was exposed to a lot of garbage on those platforms because there weren't a lot of safeguards. It was the first time anything like this was happening. Kids had never used it, adults had never used it. These platforms, Instagram and Meta platforms, were designed for adults, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that's what it was.
Exactly.
They didn't expect kids to be on it, and their business model is not set to cater to young kids, no matter how hard they'll try to tell you it is. It's not. But that's sort of the experience I was having, was like even the minimal guardrails that exist now didn't exist back then even. And so the strangers contacting me, sending me nude images in my Instagram DMs, sending me death threats for being at that point openly gay by the time I was 14, and sending me, oh, you should come to this website instead. You should go to that website instead. Look at all this stuff that you can, find networks on the internet. And
Let's just get, did you tell your mom about all this as it is going on?
no, and the answer is because I didn't realize it was bad. And that was the thing, because it was so normal. I hadn't, there was no other normal for me, because
Right.
as I came to be and came to know Instagram, I also came to know being sort of a public facing human being. And I also was like having a lot of fun because I was, really good at dance, and I was traveling, and like there was so much
You
to
were
be
fabulous at dance,
excited
not
about.
very good. Fabulous.
Thank you. But there was so much to be excited about,
Sure.
and I'm sure, the girls too, like Maddie and Kenzie, like I'm sure they're like, it's fun to do well on social media. Like you
Sure.
get dopamine, you're excited, when Kenzie drops a song, it's like skyrocket, like you're
Mhm.
excited,
Right.
like that's the feeling you chase. But then the problem is they've realized that when you chase that feeling, you're still using the product, and then they basically just mine your attention. You're just using their product addictively to, reach that dopamine high. And so that was really what was happening to me all of like, high school. And I really started to hit a wall in college, because after high school, so when I was on Dance Moms, I was still training and doing all my other dance stuff. So I think that's a big misconception I think a lot of people have, is it was true. Like we weren't Kathy's dancers. We were flown in to compete and
Exactly.
beat your team. Like that was the purpose of the team, like
Yeah.
it's a TV show. Like it's not. I would never have moved to Ohio and trained at that studio. I just
Right,
wouldn't.
right. Well, no, it's not. I mean, you had
Yeah.
really great teachers in it. And
Yeah,
you
and
guys weren't a cohesive dance
no,
group, as you know,
it was
because
like 10
dance,
solos.
right. Yeah.
There was like one group that I thought did really, really well, and it was that one with like Nikki Daniels and Gino and Brandon. It was the I can't believe they let us do this, but the We'll Dance for Food. Like who thought of
Yes. Oh, yeah, one of the crazy producers. I know exactly the dance, and that is right. Yes.
that like was like the prime time, but then after that it became like I feel like I was dancing. I was like 15 dancing with like Mackenzie Morales and Gavin who were like this big. I was
I know.
like,
They were fabulous, but they were this
right,
big.
I know it's like we're all
I mean,
great dancers, but it's like what is
yeah.
happening? Anyways,
Yeah.
besides the point, but
You did have great
after
dancers, I have to say.
oh, all I mean, yeah, 100%. Just not a team, which is totally different, which your girls were a damn team. They were
Yes. Yes.
think, they were clean, they knew their lines, like that, you know, it
Yeah.
was there that was tea. That was tea. We love a clean routine.
Yes.
But after that was when I went to call. I continued my dance career, and my goal was always to go to like a Juilliard type school. And I was always really academically driven. And so I knew Juilliard itself wasn't going to be the one for me because they don't do academics. And so I went to USC instead, which I really, I mean, it was such an insane program. I felt like I was a professional for 4 years, not like going to learn how. Like we were traveling, working with top renowned choreographers. It was awesome. And during
That's
that
amazing.
time, it was an incredible program. My only complaint, which again, I don't think is a complaint because I think everyone else in my class is still pursuing it professionally, but I felt like by the end of it, especially because I had done commercial work as a kid and then after college did a couple music videos and, did some stuff. I was like, I feel like I'm done, like I kind of burnt out a little. So that was my only thing was I wish, and that was probably on me. Like I wish I wouldn't have been so hard on myself to like, like do the thing, like
Well,
breathe
you're
in.
so you're professional. I mean, you're a perfectionist, as I can see. You're a lot like Maddie, and everything has to be so in your as your job and as a dancer and your education. So I'm sure that's some of it.
I mean, it's a lot of it. I say I'm a recovering perfectionist
That's
because I'm
Maddie.
trying really hard not to be,
Mhm.
because it's really not worth it. Like life is hard enough. If
Maddie
you're,
always says it was just a trophy,
it was
and
dance.
it was just dance, and she, doesn't it can it's just crazy. I have one trophy left. I
I
donated all of them.
yeah, and oh my goodness, yeah, and so after USC that, and during that time I had taken a break, but then what had happened was I had been out of the public eye for a long time. Like I feel like I sort of like went a different direction, and I came out as trans, and for whatever reason, trans was trendy or something. Like I didn't have a publicist.
That's great.
I didn't have a publicist, I didn't have a team, I didn't have a manager. I had an agent for dance, but like by
Mhm.
this time I was in a different it was a senior year of my undergrad. So it was 2021. And I remember was cleaning my apartment the day I posted on TikTok. And I was like just cleaning my apartment, whatever. My friend texted me, is like, girl, like, you're transitioning, one, and two, why is it on E News? And I was like, I don't know. I've never even been that popular. Like, I've never been on E News before. Like, it was just the weirdest thing.
That is
Like,
so weird. But I'm happy. I know that sounds crazy. I know that was probably like a shock to you, but I'm happy that it made news. And was it positive?
yeah, and that's the thing.
Good.
Like, I was really grateful for it because, like, I would never I never expected that. But I mean the hard reality and the hard truth is transitioning can be really expensive. And so something in the back of my head, knowing from my childhood, was like if I lean into this and I play the game and I get ready with me and look at my live stream and ask me all your questions about me being trans, like I could get brand deals and make money. And
Hmm.
I was always thinking like that because I had to. Like
Right.
I had to pay my way through college. Like,
Which is expensive college.
and I still have student loans. Like it's like you have like this is like life's life. And I feel like that was something that, I think people forget when they look at people on TV. It's like, we got lives. Like, we got
Yeah.
things that happen and like, whatever. And so I really leaned into it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And so I, did all my own PR. I organized my interviews with friends and like they leaned in and helped me. Luckily all my friends are like in around the industry and it wasn't foreign to me, but I did photo shoots by myself. I directed all this, like I did it all on my own.
Amazing.
And yeah, it was really awesome. And then I was really public again. And then I got to start doing more, public facing work. And that's really when I found my like true passion, which was like, you know, not relying on social media because, the end of that story is really like I leaned into it and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I never felt less human ever than how I did when I was posting on TikTok every day. I was, doing, and it's like, even I remember one time, like, it's like, the things you will do for views is like nauseating. Like,
I
it's like,
see people that do it. I mean,
well,
and I,
I've done it before. It's
yeah,
like you look back and it's like we're human. I remember like I knew, okay, if I posted something about, me being trans and wanting to like help the community, the algorithm is gonna like shoot it down and it's gonna get like 100 views. But if I say, hey, it's Lennon Torres, I used to be on Dance Moms, let me compare all the Dance Moms to a pair of shoes, it'd go viral. And so like I did those videos and I like fought to stay relevant to keep getting a
and it
stream
makes your
of
mind
it.
so like
Well, and
crazy.
then you're sitting there, you're like, what's my worth? And then you're like, and then, the noises, the voices get louder, the doubt of like, am I even like relevant enough? Am I, and it's just like we grew up brainwashed that our quality of life and that our sort of value can be packaged in an insights package. And
Gosh, how true is this is like so all of this is just so true. And if you can, you're going to help people out here. I'm
I
telling you,
hope so
people are
because
going
it doesn't have to be like this. That's my favorite thing too because the
to,
thing is what gets my rocker going, like what I do for a living, like what I might spend my full-time job doing is telling people that it doesn't have to be like this because I think one of the craziest things is, you know, or a misconception is if you're not wanting to be on social media, you're like, a Luddite. You want to like go back in time and like not have technology. I'm like, no, 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 it's not that. I love technology. I think, developing AI safely is absolutely something we should be doing. Like, kids
safely.
should know how to work on computers. Like all the things, like it's not about that. What it is it's these companies, I say big tech to include like the Apples of the world, the Metas, the Snapchats, the X's of the world, like those CEOs and those board tables have all decided that this business model of keeping people on the platform is the top level priority in their business structure. And so every step of the way, they will choose to exploit or addict you. I mean, all of the whistleblowers coming out of Meta, Melissa, are insane. I don't know if you've looked
Mhm.
into it, and I wouldn't even
Yeah.
be blame anybody if they don't know that it's happening because people aren't talking about it, but there was a book called Careless People by an author called Sarah Wynne Williams, and she worked at Meta for years, and um, she has internal documentation that they knew because they track what you're doing on your phone beyond just on the app. So they're able to tell when a young girl specifically, and this is why it stings because I'm like, young women or like all of my Maddie McKenzie growing up, they can tell when they're feeling self-conscious or feeling at their lowest low because they would track through camera roll when they're deleting photos of themselves. Or
Oh,
if they'll take a selfie and they'll delete a photo, or if they'll post on Instagram and they'll take it down really quickly, they'll know in their algorithm, okay, this person, this data point is feeling really low. So what are they going to do? They're going to serve them an ad next. That's a beauty ad. How to lose weight, how to have filler lips, how to, do whatever. And it's not that any of that in itself is bad. It's that the way that they're using their like control of us to make us feel like we have to consume. And then of course, because you're like, oh, well, I want to be skinny. Like, how do I do it? And then you're on your phone longer and longer and longer and longer and longer.
Well,
And
this
so,
is really interesting because I just started reading a book. I'm almost finished and I'm listening to it now too. It's Mel Robbins' Let Them. It is
oh
a
my,
I want to buy for everybody. I wish I had $1 million to buy for every single person on women, girls, I mean, boys, but mostly, I mean, it is for boys, but I don't think boys would be as interested in, but I want to send it to everyone I know because like Maddie's been really good about not being on social media. She gets up and she reads, and Kenzie's doing the same thing now too. And I'm really proud of them. I haven't been on TikTok for 4 weeks. And I haven't been scrolling on any social media for 4 weeks, except on YouTube. I do my baking and like Pilates, and dogs and babies. But I haven't been on TikTok. I post and that's it. So I post when I have a brand deal, and I only do brand deals that I feel passionate about
of course, yeah.
because I do have an agent and I do make money. But I only do stuff that I believe in. But my social my brain feels better. I stopped having hot flashes. I was having 13, 15 hot flashes a day. I haven't had one in over 3 weeks. And I feel that it's because I've been off of scrolling. And someone sends me something and I'll watch it, but I don't scroll. And sometimes I don't even watch the whole thing. I'm like, unless it's a baby or dog. But it feels so good. And and I do feel that they feed you things. I can see it.
Well, and I really love that what you just said too, Melissa, because I think a huge misconception in when you see, protests or people speaking out against this stuff, it's like you, none of us are the villain. None of us are at fault.
No.
It is the people who are making billions of dollars around a boardroom table. You, as someone who makes money off of a brand deal, does not make you a villain. It's literally how we exist in this society that is not on us. And
Mhm.
it doesn't have to, we don't have to take all the bad, because that's another argument that you hear so often. Well, I hear this with the LGBTQ plus community a ton, because we've been conditioned to think like the internet's our safe space, like if you need, which is true in some senses, resources, access to information, all of that I totally believe in. But like when you go on social medias and you look up like gay support, you get put into a gay chat room where there's old men grooming you. Like it's
And
just
how do
that,
you know? Like, how do you know that?
it's
And what if
it's
that's a 14-year-old?
and big, well, yeah, and big tech also, it's like they understand. It's just, yeah, they understand what they're doing. And I really want to make sure that like we say that out loud, because there's so many, like when I deleted Instagram in January, which is where all this ends up culminating, because I started doing this work and I unfortunately met with parents and I work with parents who've lost kids to social media harms, and it's ugly. It's not easy stuff. I mean, I have on my wall, I mean, it's like a little bit cut out, but there's like a photo of a beautiful young girl there named Coco who lost her life, because she was using Instagram, and there was no, a stranger contacted her on Instagram, groomed her for, 6 months over DMs. And then she ended up purchasing a pill through Instagram. And unfortunately, she passed, and her parents had to find her, the next day. And that's happening all the time. I mean, I know, a mom who lost her 14-year-old to a fentanyl laced pill that he bought off Snapchat after a drug dealer friended him and sent him a menu. It's terrible. It's really, and it's these, unfortunately I say, these edge cases, these most extremes, but
But
it's
there
happening
is
a
so much.
lot.
And I understand, like my kids have been bullied on social media. I mean, they have been,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff, and I someday I hope to come out and say everything that's happened to a lot of kids that I know. Um, People that they threaten and say they have this and this and this, and they're going to leak it.
Well,
But
so you know that, sorry to interrupt you, but you know
no,
that that is a organized crime called sexual extortion. It's called sextortion. And that is how we lost a number of kids I work with and parents is that exactly. And it's not a unique case. They're actually doing that right now and it's happening. Snapchat had I think it was 2 years ago, so it's probably even more now, had 10,000 reports of that specific example a month that went unaddressed.
and
10,000
Snapchat
went
scares
unaddressed.
me because it's like
It should. It
it,
very much should.
I mean, I don't, I just, but there are some things that you can do if your child is on Instagram. There is, because they always asked us to be testers for certain things. Like you can put words because
Hmm.
that the bad word that starts with an S or any of those words, I mean, you can put on your child's Instagram words that you do not want to show up in their comments. And if you are a parent, when I was a parent of a 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old, I was in my kids' Instagram. And they're not even supposed to be on Instagram. It's supposed to say, my parent runs this, but I could see all their DMs. I can see everything going on. And as a parent, be responsible and do that with your kid. See what's going on and watch what they're doing and look at their messages. Or don't let your kid have a phone. I'm sorry, but I always said, I own this phone. You make money, yes, but this, yeah,
I really love that, and it's so true. And that's another thing is parents right now are being called to do the impossible. They're being called to protect their kids against these machines, and there are things that you can do, and I encourage parents to do that. And Melissa, I can send over some resources. There's an incredible organization called Parents Together.
please,
Uh,
I'll put it down in the link below.
Yeah, Parents Together, they're an incredible resource for wellness, digital wellness. Parent Pro Tech is another one. They're really incredible organizations that are teaching folks how to best protect their kids online, even in a time of when, these companies and corporations aren't. And the only other thing I want to say, and we, again, I will soapbox on this topic forever, but is there are a lot of things you can do right now within the app that will protect your kid, but unfortunately, you can't trust those features. And that is why it's so important to be hyper vigilant. So I wish it wasn't this way. And there will be a future because there are people working so hard to make a better future of social media. There are platforms being built as we speak that I know that are in beta that, flip the algorithm on its head and actually, prioritize community and feeling good and not engagement and time spent. Like, there is a future of it. We just have to break this sort of monopoly that's happening.
That's
But
great.
until then, do the research. And like Heat Initiative is the org I work at, and we publish a ton of research on character AI, Instagram teens. Like Instagram just announced that they're this week doing Instagram teen accounts content recommendations will be guided by PG-13 movies. But then a great example of this is then the Motion Picture Association came out and was like, they never even talked to us about this. And there's no efficacy because when we do our research on the back end, we work with university research, we work with really credible researchers. Like out of 47 of the features they announced like last month, 8 of them worked and there's no like level of regulatory accountability. So they're really able to do whatever they want. So I challenge you all as parents, when you hear about an update, don't take it at face value. I'm not going to say immediately it's obviously not going to work because maybe it will. I hope that they do the right thing, but you always need to like do that extra layer. And there's an organization, we at Heat Initiative do a bunch of really awesome stuff. And then Parents Together is another really incredible organization that, helps parents navigate this really tricky and tough time.
And I want to say, as a mom of a child that had social media at a very young age, because we were on a TV show, um, you stay in your kids' stuff. I'm sorry. And I know they're all in school. And I know, like my neighbor kids, I adore them. They're not allowed to have social media. And um and they say we want social media. And people think that we're geeks because our parents won't allow it. But the boy has social media and he's not allowed to, but he still has it. And I can't say anything because I feel like I can't, but I want to. Um, so kids are going to find a way to have it. So go on their phone. I'm sorry, and say if your kid is going to do social media, because most everyone does, have the app on your phone with the password, look at their stuff. And even if they delete it, you can find the deleted stuff and just really be involved in your kids. And that's what's really important as a mom, as a dad. Really try as hard as you can to protect your kids from being speaking to a 30-year-old when you're only 13 because
Yeah,
you
because
think
that's
you're talking to a 15-year-old boy or,
totally. And that's in you're hitting on such an important point too, Melissa, which and tell your kids, parents listening, like it's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust the world. Like I would never put my kid in a guest room with the door closed, unbothered for 10 hours with an adult.
no.
That's essentially what I was when I was had my MacBook Pro or whatever at 13. Like that's
That's
dangerous.
true. That's really great. I mean, that's a good point. But that's good. I mean, and
So
great. Thank you for all of that. And I'm going to put all the resources down below. I mean, it's fabulous. But I have one more question before we leave, if you don't mind. How
please.
do you think like being a dancer kind of molded you as who you are or taught you to be this fabulous woman that you are today? I feel like dance does help in so many ways.
It really does. And I really appreciate that question because as an adult, I have been redefining my relationship to dance because at a very young age, it became a job. And the skills I learned being an elite performer and being someone who had a job at, 12, 13 and still have one and will have one for a lot more time. It teaches you specifically time management. That really like jumps out to me the absolute most because I have no doubt in my mind that Maddie is dealing with like 10 projects at a time,
Mhm.
doing so flawlessly because it's nothing is nearly as stressful as traveling every single week and learning a new solo every day. And like
Traveling with Abby Lee Miller. Sorry.
no, I mean,
I
Uh, yeah, that would suck. But I think it teaches you to manage your time, work hard, and trust yourself too. I mean, when we would walk on stage for solos, like it was just you and the Marley, like, that's all you got. And I think it also helped me form a relationship with art that's healthy because I really, really value creative expression and honestly in the last couple years really focusing more on this social media reform work. I've like lost touch a little bit in my creativity and I actually very recently just launched a Substack that I'm really excited about called The Diary of a Palatable Trans Woman. And
Yes.
it's going to be an essay series, cultural critique, sometimes maybe audio episodes. I
I
don't
read
know.
two of them. They're fabulous. I love it. I love how you write in little, nothing's capitalized, I don't think. And
Yeah.
that's how my kids write. So I was
It
like,
feels gentle
yes.
and yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but in true dancer form, I'm just want to let it happen naturally. And part of, I used to try to hold on to everything so tightly, and I'm trying to just like, you know what? I took a real detox from having to share my life publicly. It's, been 10 months and I miss sharing things and I'm excited to dive back into, platforms and uh, different communities online that actually serve the people. Some of those being, there's an app called We Are Eight that I love, and uh, the and Substack. So I'm excited. Yeah,
I
and
joined
dance is
Substack
with me through all of it. I'm actually dancing this fall.
too.
Um, I'm like dusting the shoes off. I haven't danced in couple years, and I as a local dance company that is doing a really awesome show at the LGBT Center. And we have no idea what it's going to be. It's like a 2 week residency leading into a
And
show,
when
and
is it?
it's November 15th or 12th. It's like a Saturday.
Oh,
It's
I
the
wish I could come.
second Saturday of November. It's okay. I really don't know how it's going to go.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fabulous.
I
But
gotta
that's
like get back to the ballet bar and like figure it out. So we'll
well,
see.
how about Maddie did a movie and she had to be in point shoes the whole time. And so she took, of course, privates. Like it was like, I
Can't
swear,
just
every
throw
day.
those things back on. Like
Oh no.
people think like, oh no, like I hit a first position at the ballet bar and I have cramps in both my ass cheeks. I'm like,
I
oh,
know. But it's
freaking
cute.
God.
Kenzie will rent studios and then all of her friends go, even non-dancers, and they dance. Because in LA, you can rent a studio for 40 bucks. That's
You
one thing
should
to keep there.
you should tell Kenzie to try Dance Church. I love it. It's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, they could probably go. It's like I don't think it's like the demographic is like all ages, like a lot of like over 40, over 30 people go, and it's literally just like a daytime. It's Saturday mornings. Tomorrow I'm gonna go. It's at like 10:30 or 10 in the morning, and you just like dance around to like really loud music, and it's like really cathartic and fun, and no one is a dancer and no one watches each other.
And
Like
where is
Chapel
it?
Roan, it's in at Stomping Ground. Have you ever been
No,
to Stomping Ground?
no.
Yeah, it's over here. It's like on like the east side of LA. It's really awesome, and they I think are starting to do one in Studio City because it's like picking up more in LA and
That's near me.
dance for fun. Like it's just dancing to enjoy and like yeah, it's just really it's a great workout. Oh my gosh, it's the best. You
Well, if
should.
you see what I do when I'm by myself,
Oh my gosh, but that's the best. That's
that's
the
what I do.
best.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I just dance around, and I'm not a good dancer at all, but I
Oh,
enjoy it
please.
so much.
I'm sure we need to get you to do a solo. I'm sure it's in there. You didn't just birth like two of the most beautiful dancers ever. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's in there.
I want to learn how to ballroom dance. So
I'm
that's
sure you've
my,
got the,
I have that, of
yeah, you've got that.
course.
You've got that. That's in the blood. That's in
That's
the blood.
so fun. But I just thank you for coming on. And I feel like we're going to have to do a part two because we could talk for hours and,
I've gathered. I've gathered. Part two with some wine now that I'm
yes.
26.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. I just remember when you were this big. So
I know. Well, thank you, Melissa. I'm
uh,
so had such a great time and
I
thanks
love
for
you.
having me. I love you more.
It's just great. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys so much. Please comment down below if you have any questions for Lennon. And I will put all the resources down below as well. And Lennon's Substack, it's so awesome. I read two last night and it brought tears to my eyes and it was beautiful. But you're a great writer. Wow.
Thank you. I maybe there's a book coming. I don't know.
I think there should be, because if you could help, someone that is not sure what they want to do with their life, if they need help, resources, it's good to have some resources out there for someone that went through it.
Yeah.
So, thank you. I love you.
Love you.